Hello and welcome back to the GRETA-THON on Coffee Nick's Movie Picks, a limited film review series celebrating and honoring the portfolio of Greta Gerwig over a lovely cup of coffee. My name is Nick Delaney and I'm your show host, the coffee critic who thinks there's more to fall flavors than just pumpkin, the film reviewer who just loves to complain, and the guy who has seen the Speak No Evil trailer so many times that he's starting to think it actually might be good. Maybe? I don't know. You are listening to part 7 of the GRETA-THON series, and in this shorter length episode, we're talking all things Mistress America, the 2015 film directed by Noah Baumbach, written by Baumbach and Gerwig, and starring Gerwig. I just said Gerwig 2 different ways in the same sentence. I need some clarification. I was gaslighted, I was told it was Gerwig by someone and that I've been saying it wrong this whole time, but Gerwig just feels right. I don't know. Does it matter? I think Greta just has to listen to this and let me know herself. But I really should know that, shouldn't I? Please take a seat, stay a while, and let's talk unbearable movie characters that I hate over some coffee. As always, please be sure to follow at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks on Instagram and TikTok. There you can stay up to date on new releases, see coffee pictures that go along with each and every episode, get some quick movie thoughts from yours truly, and submit Dear Coffee Nick letters. Again, that's at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks on Instagram and TikTok. How is everyone doing? How are we doing? I'm having a great old time. Oh my God, I am so excited I'm saving this for the coffee thought. I always waste what I want to talk about before the coffee thought, if that makes sense. But I hope you all are doing well. I wish I should do live streams because I wish you guys could talk back to me. I think it would be fun. That's why I love having guests on the show, because there's someone to bounce ideas off of and someone to react to what you're saying. So sometimes I sort of feel like I have to act batshit crazy when I'm doing solo reviews because that's how you stay entertaining, maybe. I don't know. We're all in this together. I'm figuring it out. Who knows? But I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time? That is making me think of Blink Twice. I did see Blink Twice in theater. What did we think about that? Let's have an open discussion. Let's be honest and real with each other. What did we think about that? I love Zoe Kravitz. I do. But let's talk about the implications. And let's talk, did anyone else think it was overproduced? Because some of the sound effects were just really dramatic in it. And it was a little bit too much. I think she was trying to make it too ASMR, maybe. Some moments I loved it, but also when he was hitting his vape, every time he'd hit his vape, it would literally sound like he was burning a forest. And that's just not how a vape sounds. And also every time they would clink a glass, which happened a lot, it would play the stock sound of a glass clinking. It was just a little overproduced to me. Are we having a double feature film review right now? But okay, there were good moments, sure. Nick Mix, there we go. Double feature, come on. But there were some concerning things in that film. And I don't know how I feel about the way they were addressed. So there's that. I'm open to having a discussion about that privately, not on this public platform. This is a shorter length episode, so we will not be having a coffee review, but we still do have a coffee thought, and that is our outlet dedicated to voicing my many incoherent thoughts over a lovely cup of coffee. And I never have coffee with me, of course. But today, so what I want to be talking about, there was a Nintendo Partner Direct today. If you know me, you know I'm a big Nintendo fan, really, really seriously into Nintendo. I just enjoy it so much. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel happy. It started out as kind of re-exploring that childhood nostalgia sort of thing, but then I slipped into it and became a serious interest again. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nintendo is not just for kids. It's for everyone to enjoy. That's the best part about their games. There was a Nintendo Partner Direct today, so it wasn't any like Nintendo properties, but they announced My Sims. So we all know The Sims. We know The Sims. We know about her. They announced My Sims, though. Do you guys remember My Sims? It's like the more cartoony version of Sims, where you like build stuff using blocks, and it's like a little small knit community that you make friends with and build relationships. They announced that those two games are coming to the Switch, and let me in now, and it would be nice. I need to play that game. I need that. That is like childhood nostalgia inject like IV bag into my veins. That game was so important to me as a kid. I don't know if I played My Sims Kingdom. I played the normal My Sims though. That was so fun, and I cannot wait. They're asking $40 for it, which is a bit ridiculous, I think, because these games are so old. But I'm gonna pay it. They also have Epic Mickey remastered coming to the Switch, which that was also really important to me in my childhood. That though, they're asking $60 for. That's kind of crazy. Like if it's a full remake, I kind of get it, but also I think that should be $40. More about Nintendo kind of lore, I guess. Let's talk about, so Donkey Kong Country Returns was originally released on the Wii. Critically acclaimed game, like everyone loves it. Sure, whatever. Then it was released on the 3DS. It was ported over to the 3DS. It like gave you new levels, and there was new content, and of course you could play in 3D and everything. People ate it up. It was great. And it was only $30 because that's just how 3DS games were priced. They are now bringing that game to the Switch, so it's coming to its third console now in January. They're not adding anything new. They're not changing the graphics at all, as far as I know. And they are charging $60 for it. $60. Like it's a full priced game that they just like, it's completely new. And they did this with Luigi's Mansion 2. That was originally on the 3DS, and that was, of course, $30 because that was how things were priced there. And this summer, they brought it to the Nintendo Switch. Didn't change a thing. They changed the title, but other than that, like actual content, they didn't change anything. $60. 60. Like I want to play these games. I want to replay them. I've played both of those. But not for $60 to play a game that came out like 10 years ago, if not more, that you've done nothing to. I'm not paying $60 to do that. I'll wait for maybe $40. Even $40 is a little bit much. Metroid Prime Remastered. Metroid Prime is another like critically acclaimed game. Everyone loves it. Everyone was begging for them to put it on the Switch. And they completely remastered it, like from the ground up. And it is like beautiful. It is like the best graphics you will find on the Switch now. And it's a remake. That was only $40. I don't get how this makes sense. You know, I don't get what the logic is. Were they not expecting Metroid Prime to sell well, so they like lowered the price or something? Metroid Prime, they gave 1 day notice of that game coming out. Like they announced it and it came out within a day. What is that about? And then they haven't done anything like since. They haven't remastered the other games or anything. There's still time before Metroid Prime 4, so we'll see. But this has been a long, very nerdy rant of me, but this is just the sort of things I think about at work all day. I think about Nintendo. And the main point I wanted to bring up, I am so excited to play the new Legend of Zelda game. I am happy to pay $60 for that. The new Legend of Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom, where you play as Zelda because Link gets captured. And there's no combat. You the way you navigate the world is by like making duplicates of things. It's so cool. It's so creative. And it's just like that Nintendo brand and that Nintendo quality that like you just are looking for in Nintendo games. You know, I'm happy to pay full price for that. I will be paying full price for that. I will like save money. Even though I'm paying rent now and video games are a little bit of a hassle to pay, I will make room for that one. So yeah, that's what's on my mind right now. Nintendo, My Sims, Donkey Kong, Metroid, the usual stuff. I wrote here that I would talk about Pokemon. I'm going to save that for another day. I could talk a lot about it as I'm now thinking about. I think I want to mention, though, that my favorite Pokemon are Psyduck and Raichu. That's all I want to say. Okay, so moving right along, we're going straight into the movie discussion, movie review now. This will be more of a review than a discussion. I don't think I have much to say here. This might be a quick in and out episode. So now showing the GRETA-THON, our feature ideological analysis and critical film review segment honoring and celebrating the portfolio of Greta Gerwig, hosted by yours truly. Now showing on part 7 of the GRETA-THON series, Mistress America. Mistress America follows Tracy, played by Lola Kirk, as she starts college in New York City. Upon being rejected from the school's prestigious writers' club, Tracy connects with her soon-to-be half-sister Brooke, played by Greta Gerwig. As they get to know one another, Tracy begins to find her next writing inspiration. So right away, I think this is funny because it is about a freshman in college that is in New York City and who is a writer. Where have you heard this before? You have heard this, you know, very similar to Greta Gerwig's actual life, very similar to Lady Bird, and very similar to Frances Ha. So I think that that's just an interesting thing about this movie. This movie, where do I start? I do not like it at all. This is going to be kind of like a lazy review, but I don't have the energy to tear this movie to shreds right now. And I don't think it even deserves that. I just do not enjoy this movie. The characters are right away very unlikable. That is like the main thing for me. These characters are not likable whatsoever. That's okay. It is okay to have characters who are not likable. I think those, in fact, can make up like the most interesting characters sometimes. But it's not just that these characters are unlikable. They are unbearable. And they're uninteresting. They have nothing going on for them. And you really just don't want to watch their story, especially the character of Tracy. I straight up do not like this character. I do not like her. And I really don't know if I like the character of Brooke, Greta Gerwig's character, either. I think Brooke is like the only funny part about this movie. This movie is a comedy, but I usually don't laugh at all when I watch it. In fact, I am unlaughing. What's the opposite of laughing? Not crying. I'm just like mad the whole time, I guess. But this most recent time, I did chuckle a few times. There's a few funny moments with Brooke's character. I think at one point they're accosted by someone that Brooke knew in high school, and that girl is like, "You're a bitch. I hate you, blah, 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 blah." And, you know, it's sort of funny, but how could that not be funny? But that's really it. And it's almost like every character goes out of their way to be very annoying. There's a character called Nicolette who is a side character, but she's kind of like this very possessive girlfriend of the love interest for Tracy. And she's sort of just like always in their way. And she incriminates Tracy at the end of the movie for doing this like quote unquote shitty thing. And I think that she was intended to be funny, but she is very much not. And that's just kind of the whole movie. It is not interesting, it's not funny, and it's not likable, in my opinion. I think that there were and I think that this all could have been remedied very easily by some more emotions. I think, like, you know, this is a coming of age story and this is a comedy. And so I think with that, there needed to be some stakes and there needed to be some more emotional moments, which there were no emotional moments here. So, and the lowest moment of this movie, kind of like the Act 3 low moment, like, which is supposed to be like this is the lowest point your character could go to. And it's, you know, the ending is how they build themselves back up and how they recover. The lowest moment is the reveal that Tracy is writing her essay the whole time. And the essay is inspired by Brooke. And it's kind of, the essay is critiquing Brooke a little bit, but it also, Tracy makes it so that like Brooke is not named. Like she names Brooke Meadow in her story. But it's very much inspired by Brooke. And the essay is called Mistress America, of course. And everybody's like, wow, Tracy, fuck you. Like, that was real shitty of you. And it's like, Tracy is destroyed after this. Like, there's no coming back. Is it really that bad? Was this really the lowest moment for this character? And, you know, I guess it was hard for this movie to determine what a low moment for this character is, because it's not really like her struggles. This character's struggles aren't really shown at all. This character's flaws aren't really explored, or her desires aren't really explored. Really, her only desire that we see is to be in this club that is at her school and to be close with Brooke. And in the end, it's kind of like, oh, well, neither of those things really matter anyways. And that's the movie. I mean, her and Brooke get back together and are like friends again, but it's very like nonchalant. And then Brooke's character is also just a trip, very interesting. So Brooke's character throughout the course of the film, it's kind of like, I guess it's supposed to be a running joke that she has like so many different jobs. She is like a receptionist at a laser hair removal clinic. She is like a cycling instructor. She tutors someone in algebra. She does this and that. And then her whole big thing is she wants to open this restaurant and she wants to be a small business owner. And it's just weird. And I don't know why it does all these things. And also Brooke's character has like these unexplained mood swings where like at one moment she's like being really sweet to Tracy, but then like the next morning Brooke is like, you suck, blah, 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 blah. And it's like just unprovoked. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing in this movie makes sense to me, and I don't like it. And, you know, maybe it's just not for me. If you enjoyed this movie, that's great. But it does nothing for me. And the last portion of this movie all takes place in this house, and I think it's supposed to be like this kind of like, oh, spiraling out of control moment. And, you know, at the very end, that's when it's revealed that Tracy was writing this story, and you know, all these crazy things are happening in the house, quote unquote crazy. I mean, there's like this random character who's there that I think they wanted that to be funny. That's like, oh, who's this random pregnant lady? But it just kind of was like, you know, it's not really that funny. So like nothing in this film is effective to me. And I think it's really because there are no stakes here. There's no exploration of its own characters. There's nothing relatable here either, really. And I don't really think this movie has any subtext. And this is all just so weird coming from Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig. Like, I don't know how this happened. And like, they wrote this after Frances Ha. Like, this is chronologically the next film after Frances Ha, if we're talking about like the Greta films I'm looking at. So how did this happen? How did this happen? And I would ask Gerwig about this movie if I could talk to her. Like, I want to know what she thinks about this. You know, maybe she loves it, and that's great if she does, but I want to know why. And I want to know like what this means to her. Same thing with Baumbach. This is almost kind of just like a Frances Ha dupe in a way. But it's like, so it doesn't even feel like it's made by the same people that made Frances Ha. Like, it just feels so much lower quality, and there's like no attention to the details here, and there's no emotions explored. There's no true comedy like there was in Frances Ha. Frances Ha is funny. And that's just not here. That's not here at all. This movie's whack. I don't understand it, and I don't get it. I would love to talk to you about it if you've seen it, but I don't think you should watch it if you haven't seen it before. It was so hard doing my research on this movie. I think in my research paper, in my thesis, I maybe pulled like one example from this movie. And I think it was something to do with Brooke being a millennial and saying how she wants to be like super hyper accomplished and everything. And that fits in a little bit to like that millennial disentitlement stuff I was talking about in like Hannah Takes the Stairs and Frances Ha. But it does it in such a, I mean, it's really just that one line I could pull from this movie that has anything to do with my research. So this movie is just kind of there. It's there. There's like really no out of placeness happening with like gender or age, like there is in every other movie I'm looking at. There's nothing going on here. And I think it's interesting how Lola Kirk never shows up again in Gerwig's movies. And I don't mean that in any way, Lola Kirk. But, you know, Gerwig seems to be one of those directors who likes to work with the same actors. I mean, look at Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet. You know, she even says she wishes she could work with them on Barbie, but it was like a scheduling conflict. Yeah, this just seems to be like a little blip in the Greta Gerwig universe. It's like a little inconsistency. It's like a little exception. And I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what this all means. And it drives me crazy. This movie drives me crazy. So yeah, there is a movie that Gerwig has written for that I do not like, that I strongly dislike, actually. And maybe I'm taking this just all too seriously. I mean, when I first watched this movie, I was in the researcher mindset, but I was also that way when I watched Lady Bird and Frances Ha and even, you know, Hannah Takes the Stairs and Nights and Weekends. I was watching those for the first time when I did my research, and I still was able to have fun with them, you know. But this one, I just was not at all. The acting wasn't good. I'm reading my previous Letterboxd. I couldn't even be bothered to write like official notes for this. I'm just going off the cuff here. And I think I'm doing a good job doing that. So yeah, I just don't know what I'm supposed to make of this movie. I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from it. Yeah, I need help. If you've seen this movie before, I think we need to start like a support group, especially if you're like a Gerwig fan like I am, because this is not good news. Like, what is this? What happened? Okay, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. I don't like being ultra super negative, but I think it's a little fun since I've had to be so positive for this entire series that I get to be negative for once. So I actually am having a good time shit talking this movie. The things I do like about it, though, I love the fall vibes. There is some pretty scenery in this movie. There's like fall landscapes, changing leaf colors and all that. Whatever. Like I could just go outside and see that, I guess. It's fun being negative. Oh my God. And I love that the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is in this movie. It shows Kermit the Frog, and you guys know that I love the Muppets. So that was good. And yeah, this most recent time I watched it, I did maybe like chuckle once or twice, maybe just once. So yeah, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That is a huge, 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 huge thing for me. That is such a tradition in my family to watch that. And it just is so comforting to me. And I will watch that every year until the day I die, I hope. I love the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It fills me with such joy and hope for humanity. Okay. Yeah. So I'm giving Mistress America the Nicks. To me, the first problem that this film presents is its lack of anything truly compelling happening. This issue is then exaggerated by the unlikable characters, the bland and unexciting plot, the lack of comedy, and the absence of any real stakes or emotions. This movie is a chore to watch and sit through, and I do not recommend it to anyone. Do not watch this. I think my most recent Letterboxd review for this, and follow me if you haven't, it's Nick PD. My most recent one is that this is an 80-minute movie, but it is like the longest 80 minutes ever. And it's almost like if you are sitting in a doctor's office waiting room, waiting for your appointment 80 minutes past the scheduled time. Like time just moves slower when you're watching this movie. Um, it's a bad experience to me. Not a fan. Greta, I'm sorry. Noah Baumbach, I don't care if I hurt your feelings that much or not. But Greta, I am sorry. I want to know what you think about this movie, and I want you to explain it to me. If there's one movie I want you to explain to me, it's Lady Bird. And then if there's a second movie you could explain to me, it would be Frances Ha. And then if there's like a seventh movie you could explain to me, it would be this one. And it'd be nice to like learn more about what you thought, I guess. Okay, I'm not gonna exacerbate this. He's what? Exacerbating. Hey, what? I'm not going to exacerbate this review anymore. If you'd like to send in a Dear Coffee Nick, your last chance to have it featured in a GRETA-THON episode is for my Barbie review. So please send in a letter sooner rather than later. I'd love to answer any questions or respond to comments that are related to Gerwig, but I would also like to talk about other things. That would be fun too. Either way, please send in your letters to my social media accounts through DM or to coffeenicksmoviepics@gmail.com. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this one. It was more nonchalant, and I enjoyed that. This is like a nice little palate cleanser in the larger GRETA-THON, I think. So yeah, thank you all for tuning into this episode of the GRETA-THON on Coffee Nick's Movie Picks. Please be sure to rate the show on Apple Podcasts, follow the show's social media, and share the show with your friends. Until next time, Thanks again for listening to the GRETA-THON on Coffee Nick's Movie Picks. Our opening theme is The Light Within, and our closing theme is When the Ash Settles, both themes by the Westerlies. Before you go, please be sure to follow the show on social media at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks, and give the show the Nick Pick by rating it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much.